said give me a hell yeah.
Wrestling on Wii. 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 Wrestling on Wii.
You're tuned in to the dopest wrestling review show there is. Wrestling on Weeds, Monday Night Raw review joint. Stay tuned immediately after the review for the blunt ratings. And now, here's your hosts, The Boss, Mr. HD, and Two-Face the Wild Boy.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. HD, back with another wild review joint. Sorry, Two-Face can't be here with us today. He is underneath the weather. So hopefully he gets better. Him and the boys are over there sick. Hopefully they get better soon. We can have Two-Face back on Saturday afternoon. Speaking of Saturday afternoon, I'll be heading out to Vegas to go see my Raiders beat the Bears, because we got to make up for those shenanigans that happened last night. But anyways, we have a long show to get through, so let's get through it. It's not going to be that long. I can't wait to get to the news, because during the news, we're going to do a full breakdown of the WWE draft both nights and what I think of everything that happened. But first, as we always do, we're going to do our review joint for Monday Night Raw. I'm going to see if my teleprompter is working properly while I do this. Hopefully it is. If not, I'll be looking at the computer as normal. Appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all those good things you hate here to say, tell you to do, but we got to do it. Jay, what's up? Good job on the notes today, man. So without further ado, let's get right into the Raw review joint. Hold on. Let me fix this real quick. Got to fix some stuff. Okay, there we go. First of all, the man kicked off the show. Becky came out with the spoiler alert, announced that she's going to be the first pick of Monday Night Raw. I think we all kind of knew that was happening, since, you know, the other champions on the other brand, they're not going to have two belts on the same. I talked about this. It makes no sense. You're wasting our time and picks. But anyways, then Charlotte came out, and Charlotte said that before Becky became Becky Two Belts, she was Becky pre-show. Ooh. And that made she made Becky famous. Then out came Bianca Belair. Bianca said that both the champions are scared of her. Charlotte shushed Bianca really disrespectfully. Shh. Said the champions are having a conversation here. Bianca obviously was not too fond of that. Becky was in the background instigating shit the whole time beyond Bianca and Charlotte's back. Adam Pearce and Sonya came out. I was like, hold up. I think we got a main event for tonight. Bianca versus Charlotte. They also announced that Nikki and Rhea will defend their tag titles against Natalya and Tamina. More on that. They also announced that the U.S. title will be defended next on Raw. Again, Damian Priest will be facing off against Jeff Hardy. Then, after all those shenanigans, we had the first round officially of the draft on Monday Night Raw, second night of the draft. The first pick, as before mentioned, was Becky Lynch, the man herself. SmackDown selected the Usos, saving Paul Heyman's tuchus because he was on the firing line if they did not get drafted back into the bloodline over there on SmackDown. After that, Raw picked up Bobby Lashley, obviously, smart pick. And then SmackDown, surprisingly to me, but makes a lot of sense, SmackDown picked back up Sasha Banks. So the first round of Monday Night Raw's draft was great. All first round selections. Everybody that got picked in the first round made perfect sense. We'll talk more about that later. After that, we had the U.S. title match. it was a decent match between Jeff Hardy and Damian Priest. These two have pretty good chemistry, especially two baby faces. Both superstars reversed each other's signature moves at one point. Jeff Hardy managed to hit the Swanton Bomb on Priest, but it looked like he tweaked his back. I don't know, he's done that move 1,000 times, and then all of a sudden he did it wrong this time, I guess. He didn't get the pin because, he stalled out going for the pin, so he didn't get the 3 count. He got a 2 count. He didn't even get a 2 count, really. He got a 2 count, but Damian just like immediately rolled him over into I guess it's the cross. I forget what they call that, the crucifix roll up, and got the 1, 2, 3. Surprising Jeff Hardy, and it was a good match, and I like the way that the match ended, because it doesn't bury Jeff Hardy, doesn't make him look like a loser. He got caught off guard. He actually had the win if he didn't tweak his back or whatever. But Damian Priest, being a smart babyface, still ended up with the win. So I'm not mad about any of this. The post-match angle was much, much better than the match, because after the match, Jeff Hardy and Damian Priest shook hands or whatever, went to separate ways, but Jeff is standing in the ring. For some reason, it was like Jeff was retiring. Damian was like, no, you got the ring, bro. It's all you. It's like, nigga, is he about to give his retirement speech? Why are you doing that? Like, you might have to fight him again. What? But anyways, he left Jeff in the ring, and then out comes the newly drafted, he was announced on SmackDown, Austin Theory. Awesome pickup for Monday Night Raw. Excited to see what this guy does. But he came out and he was doing, like, I believed him for like 1 second, but it was literally only 1 second. And then I was like, this isn't happening. Because he came out, he's like, Jeff, man, I looked up to you for so long. The whole veteran babyface thing. And, you inspired me, man. And look where I am now, man. It's all because of you, man, and how much you inspired me. Can we take a selfie? Then he's like, for real? You want to take a selfie? So we went to take the selfie. He act like the phone wasn't working, then clotheslined the shit out of Jeff. And then the best part about all of it was when Jeff is on the ground, he got on the ground and still took the selfie while throwing up Jeff's hand signal and shit. I was like, oh no, that's so disrespectful. But that's how you make an impact on the main roster. Right there, Austin Theory. Obviously, he was on the main roster at one point as a part of Zelina Vega's stable of men. But him being out on his own, he's proved that he's hilarious with the way. Sorry to see him go from NXT, but obviously NXT isn't what it was. So good for him. He's a big dude. Like I said, good looking dude. Look like he could be a superstar. Put a belt on him ASAP. He wears suits and shit. Like, he's somebody that they could do something big with, and I hope that he falls into that Miz lane, like the slime ball heel, funny, goofy guy. I think he might potentially be better than the Miz, because the Miz just exudes that douchebag shit in real life. You know what I mean? But we'll see. Austin Theory, the P-brain one, right? Exactly. Naomi is an NXT OG from the very small beginning. Oh, that's facts. When NXT was a training show. I don't even know what the hell to call it, a reality show or some shit. But after that, RK Bro did an interview. Riddle said that he's happy to see Orton back. Riddle asked Orton, hey, Randy, is that a snake in your pocket, or are you just excited to see me? And it made everyone uncomfortable, including Randy. Randy was just said he said Randy's skin was glowing like a skinless snake in the sun. Just real weird stuff to say, but that's Riddle for you. Riddle said that he learned that in summer school about the snakes. And okay. Orton then asked Riddle if he was done. These two. And then laid out a challenge to Amos. He said, Amos, it's time for you to face the Viper. So we're going to get Amos and Randy Orton in a match later. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Then we have round 2 of the draft. Raw picked Seth Rollins. SmackDown picked Nakamura and Boogs. Raw picked Damian Priest, the United States champion, and SmackDown picked up Sheamus. All good picks. 2 more wasted picks. Well, I should say 1 wasted pick, because you don't need to pick all the champions. Just put the champions on the brand that you want them on, then put the other one, or draft one and put the other one on the opposite. We know that that's how it's going. Anyways, but these picks all made sense. After that, Shayna Baszler continued to look like a savage. She went up against the milk carton nominee, Dana Brooke, because no one's seen her for a while. She's definitely been a missing person for at least a month or two, feels like. But she just popped back up and got her ass beat. And, you know, after the match, after she tapped out, Doudrop came out to make the save when Shayna was going to beat her up some more. And Doudrop stared down Shayna. Maybe we're going to go to Doudrop and Shayna Baszler feud. Can we just call her Piper Niven? Please. Can we please just call her Piper Niven? It's like the mean look in her face. I was like, oh, I remember her. I remember that girl. I remember her. Where's she at? I want her back. She's intimidating. Doudrop, she came out to make a save skipping. And Corey Graves even pointed it out, like, yeah, if you're going to make a save, you might want to run instead of skip. It's like, what the fuck? Bitch, who told you that was the proper way to come out making a save? Anyways, Doudrop saved her. It was a pretty good match, or a pretty good segment as far as moving the story along and giving Shayna something different to do. Since they separated her from Nia, I figured they could have given her a better option than Doudrop, but it is what it is. Piper Niven. I'm just going to call her Piper Niven. But anyways, Paul Heyman was interviewed by Kevin Patrick. He told Kevin Patrick he's prettier than Kayla Braxton. But, you know, he was boasting about how he influenced the Usos and their stay on SmackDown and all that good stuff. Jimmy and Kevin Patrick was a dick, and for some reason, like this, if I was Paul Heyman, I would get these dudes beat up. I got money. I'm going to just pay to get niggas beat up. Like at that point, him and Kayla. Like, Kayla, I'm calling my sister to get you jumped because at this point, y'all trying to set me up and get me fired or get me beat up. So at this point, it's survival of the fittest because Kevin Patrick was like, so is this how you maintain the free agent status of Brock Lesnar? It's like, bitch, I never even said I did. Why are you assuming that? And then why would you say that in front of them? Jimmy and Jay just slowly turned their heads at him like, oh yeah, we can't really trust you, can we? So they just stared at him and then they walked off and Paul Heyman was sitting there looking stupid. After that, Mustafa Ali and Mansoor went up against Carrillo and Garza. Carrillo and Garza made their entrance. Corey Graves asked Saxton, Byron, are you mentally prepared to call either one of these guys stepdad? Corey Graves be on one. And he better be careful because this girl is on the same show as him now. And yeah, he's the one that might have to work. The match was quick, though. I love both of these teams. I hope they do something with both of these teams. We need like a tag team tournament. I know we about to do King of the Ring. Hopefully, more about that later. But yeah, I like both of these teams. They both look good as teams. They both work well as teams. It all works. But Garza and Carrillo got the win. Carrillo slammed Ali's head into the ring post, and that was enough for Garza to get the pinfall. So draft round 3. After that, Raw picked up AJ Styles and Amos. SmackDown picked up Shayna Baszler. Raw picked up Kevin Owens. And SmackDown picked up the first NXT call-up of the evening, Xia Li. Now, if you watched the show, you heard me scream that Io Shirai needs to be called up. She is a tag team champion down there in NXT, but still, I was like, she needs to be called up. She is ready for the main roster. She is a superstar. But I like to admit that I overlook Xia Li because she is the same to me as far as being ready. Obviously, they have completely different characters, but Xia Li is definitely ready. Her gimmick, her wrestling ability, definitely everything about Xia Li, especially since she made the change. Before she made the change, she was like babyface Xia Li. She could have still competed, but it wouldn't have lasted long. They would have turned her into Asuka or some shit. Xia Li is the real deal. Xia Li will concuss you for red facts. That's facts, kid, get money. She has knocked a couple motherfuckers out with those spin kicks and all kind of shit that she does. She just looks like she's a real threat to anybody when she steps in the ring with them. I can't wait to see those matchups she has on the main roster. So after that, Big E came out. Big E talked about the New Day being on different brands. Like, we both got drafted different brands again, which I'm cool with. I'm cool with it. Let Big E do his thing as a solo star. The group is still together technically, so I'm with the shits. Then he calls out Drew McIntyre because obviously Drew threatened him with a sword last week. McIntyre came out with the sword again and said, "It's a Drew day." Yes, it is. That was corny. But then he said something that definitely made me laugh later. Drew congratulated Big E and, put him over heavy, and challenged him for a title match. And then Dolph and Rude came out, and Dolph made a lot of good points. I'm just say that. Dolph made a lot of good points because both of these guys were kind of his heavies at one point. He made both of them champions at one point. Both of them were champions while they were with him at one point. So he did kind of help with their careers and their come-ups. So it's like, damn, he does have a point, but obviously he asked for acknowledgement in the most douchebag way possible. Basically said that, he groomed them and, blah, blah, blah. They rode his coattails, which was probably the most insulting thing that he said. But Ziggler was hot. And, his Money in the Bank cash-in, Big E was right there. And that was like one of the best cash-ins of all time. So Big E was right there. WrestleMania, was a lot of things going on for Big E. And Drew McIntyre became a tag team. Anyways, Dolph wasn't 100% wrong. He's just being a dick. So Drew and Big E were like, we got something for you. How about you face me, Big E? And then Drew McIntyre jumped in and was like, and me, Big D. And definitely paused for a reaction. It was everybody looked like, wait a minute. Wait, did he mean to do that? I think he did. Oh, man. So we had Big Z going up against Big D and Big E and then Big Bob, because for some reason he said call him Big Bob, Robert Roode, and Big E said no one calls you that, and definitely no one calls you that except for apparently Corey Graves, because he said it about 17 times during the match. But occasionally during the match, the Dirty Dogs had the upper hand because these two teams did go up against each other right then and there. And, it was short-lived, obviously. Big E was about to put an end to Dolph. Rude breaks the pin. Dolph hit the zigzag on Big E. Drew broke the pinfall. Big E was about to go for the big ending, but Drew tagged himself in and hit the Claymore for the pinfall victory. Big E then hit Rude with the big ending. Big E told Drew that he will see him at Crown Jewel. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna see you. When these two talk back and forth from the ramp in the ring for like 5 minutes before they cut. But then we had Reggie backstage, and I'm sick of this shit. I don't want to see it. I don't care. I'm not even gonna talk about it because I don't care. It was 24/7 title segment. If you want to go watch it, which I'm sure you do not, and I don't recommend, then don't go watch it. There's enough said about that. Moving on. Kevin Owens' segment was next. This wasn't that much better because it was basically an extension of the 24/7 segment. Kevin Owens came to the ring. I guess he was about to say something, and he didn't because Akira Tozawa came out and said he wanted to challenge Reggie for a 24/7. I'm still talking about it. Oh, they pissed me. They tricked me. He wanted to challenge Reggie for a 24/7 title, and Kevin Owens did the Stone Cold Steve Austin thing where he just stunned the babyface and shrugged his shoulders like, hey, I'm just doing me. I just stunned people. Reggie is not hilarious. I disagree. He's boring at this point. He's very skilled and talented. He can do flips. R-Truth is doing some real, he crept up from behind and said, how you want it? It's going to be the easy way. He's doing some real gel for the last 3-4 weeks, using mad gel sling, he's going to, grape him or some shit. I'm like, bro, what's wrong with you, R-Truth? Is this your new character, the gel bird? I don't like it. This isn't what I want. I already hate this shit, but damn, the 24/7 title now is just getting weird. Throw that shit in the trash can for real this time. Where's the laundry blaze when you need her? After that, we had draft round 4. In round 4, Raw picked up the Street Profits, excellent pick. SmackDown picked up the Viking Raiders, excellent pick. Raw picked up Finn Balor, excellent pick. The demon go with the red. It just makes sense. And SmackDown, yes, picked up Ricochet. Guess who doesn't have to chase the 24/7 title anymore, ladies and gentlemen? I'm so happy for Ricochet. He gets to have real feuds with real wrestlers. Think about all the matchups, all the people on SmackDown he can wrestle. It's going to be so much better. We're finally going to get a push possibly for Ricochet. He actually said something about that on Twitter, like, hey, I'm ready for my shot, man. Hopefully this is, I just been here doing my thing, and he has been with the company 3, 4, 5 years or something like that. So it's time, man. He's obviously one of the most talented people in the company. They need to do something with him. After that, we had the women's tag title match, Nia and Rhea, with a short promo ahead of the match. Rhea said that everyone would get the BZKs, or Nikki said this, obviously. And Rhea was like, what's that? And she was like, the boom, zap, kapows. Save Rhea Ripley. Please, wrestling gods, save Rhea. Free Rhea Ripley. Hashtag free Rhea Ripley ASAP. The match started, Natalya was dominating Nikki. Then Tamina came in and she was throwing Nikki. Nikki managed to lock in a sleeper, jumping on her back, but Tamina just flipped her off of her. Tamina hit the super kick, but Rhea broke the pinfall. Natalya came in. Then Nikki tagged in Rhea. Rhea was fired up at that point. Rhea kicked Tamina to the outside. Nikki hit a splash, taking out both their opponents on the outside. Rhea hit the riptide on Tamina and tagged in Nikki. Rhea carried Nikki on her shoulder. It was a little iffy there. She almost dropped her. But Rhea managed to drop Nikki on Tamina and pin Tamina to retain the tag titles. Yeah, and then it was announced later, post-show, that during Brawl Talk, that Tamina and Natalya are no more because they got drafted to different brands. WrestleMania was just like 3 months ago. They had like a big WrestleMania. They wrestled twice. The only tag team that ever wrestled twice on a WrestleMania. They broke them. So already, what are they about to do? They're going to be solo stuff. Anyways, we had draft round 5 after that. Raw picked up the sex slave, Karrion Kross. And SmackDown picked up the sex workers, Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. Raw picked up the scary girl, who's not going to be around for a long time because she just had surgery this week, so this really made no fucking sense. Alexa Bliss. And then SmackDown picked Cesaro. I really don't get that Alexa Bliss thing. She's literally just had surgery, I guess, just to make her name relevant so she gets strapped. I don't fucking know. Goldberg, after that, admitted that he was a murderer, or that he will be in the future, because he had a face-to-face with Bobby Lashley once again before the match. He threatened that he was going to kill him. Literally kill him. He wants to break his neck. Lashley came out while Goldberg was in the ring in another mean 3-piece suit. Said, bro, I'm not fighting you. You see this suit? Why would I mess this suit up, man? Who is you, old man? I'm not about to beat your ass again in this suit. Wait until I'm in my ring gear. I'll do it at Crown Jewel. And Goldberg just kept going on to say how he was going to murder Bobby Lashley. It wasn't a joke. He wasn't smiling. He dropped to his knees and said, thank you for this being a no holds barred match, because that's what Bobby Lashley said he wanted. And now that gives him free reign to murder him. That's a license to kill. I'm not sure Lashley should show up. I mean, it's wrestling. I mean, I don't want to die over a wrestling match. But then Lashley said Goldberg, was talking about Goldberg's son jumping him from behind. He said, what would you do if somebody jumped you from behind? And it was so obvious that he was telegraphing the Hurt Business running in and jumping him from behind. They jumped on Goldberg. He dispatched them very quickly. And that was pretty much it. And then we had a Seth Rollins interview after that. He was interviewed by John. Seth is singing and, just enjoying himself as he does, the drip god. John was trying to ask him about Edge. Seth was like, we're not going to talk about that. I'll deal with that on SmackDown. But Seth was just in his normal good mood as usual. Then after that, we had the New Day versus the Hurt Business. Despite being taken out by Goldberg, the Hurt Business still looked strong, which is good. The New Day won after Woods hit the diving elbow on Cedric. But before the match, this is something I want to highlight. Before the match, when the New Day was coming out, they ran into a fan with a sign that said, Woods for King or something like that, and he basically ran up on that fan and was pointing at the sign. The camera cut away from him, then they cut back to him and showed the fan holding the sign. It was basically alluding to Woods being in King of the Ring, which has been announced, and they've announced there's been some leaked participants for it, and none of them have been named Xavier Woods, which would be highly offensive and would make me not even want to watch it, because I don't even care at that point. If Xavier Woods ain't in it, he ain't in at least the finals. And honestly, he should win. You know what I mean, at this point, because he's the only reason. Well, I've been screaming, bring the King of the Ring back. Then he started campaigning for it. So, I want to see him win it. Like, fuck it. Ain't nobody else campaigning for it that hard. So even after the match, he was screaming into the camera, crown me, crown me, crown me. So I'm looking forward to that. Plus his hair looked like James Brown. So I was fucking with it. Then the Street Profits came out and congratulated the New Day. Everybody's on Raw now. Everybody's excited. Got the two of the best tag teams in the company on the same brand. So should be a lot of fun interactions between those two teams. They'll probably be the babyface teams facing off against whatever heel teams are on Raw. We really just need one set of tag belts again. Really, really bad. But anyways, after that, Randy Orton faced off against Amos. We had a hype package for Finn Balor after that because he was drafted. Obviously, got to keep the superstars relevant. So hype package for Finn Balor. Then Randy Orton went against Amos. Orton called out Amos and called him a bitch, because that's the word you go to if you want to disrespect somebody in WWE. There was also some more cursing on. Somebody else cursed on the show last night, said, I don't give a shit about something. I'll remember it in a minute. Orton called out Amos, like I said. Styles and Amos came out. AJ cut a quick promo. Just as Orton was about to speak, just as Amos was about to speak, Orton attacked Styles. Orton then hit an RKO on Styles, and RK Bro retreated. So it wasn't really a match. Orton just wanted to set Amos up. At least that's how they tried to explain it to us. That didn't really make any sense. He could have just attacked him in the back with a chair or something. But I guess he wanted to put him on blast in front of everybody. I don't fucking know. But then we had draft round number 6, and Raw picked up Corey Graves' woman, Carmella. I'm sure he was happy about that. Obviously, he was gushing. He won't be able to gush over women like Mandy Rose and whoever else are on the show now. Now he gets to gush over his own woman, which I'm sure she's happy about and he's happy about. So that's cool. SmackDown got the next NXT call-up, and the call-up was Ridge Holland. Not what I expected, but it makes sense. He's like a mini Brock Lesnar. I'm not mad at it. So whatever. Ridge Holland going to SmackDown. Should be a lot of good baby faces over there for him to beat up. Please don't bury Ricochet in your first match. Then after that, Raw picked up a surprising name. The recent 2-time Olympic champion, Gable Stevenson, someone they brought on Monday Night Raw a few weeks back just to show him off. They announced that they signed this guy to a Performance Center contract, and he's already being drafted to the main roster. Shout out to all the people who didn't get picked, who have been wrestling their entire lives, and he's just been in the Performance Center for 2 months, and he got drafted and they didn't. Oh, I would be so salty. But then SmackDown picked Sami Zayn, obviously a good pick for any brand. Then after that, we had the main event of the evening. Bianca Belair going up against Charlotte Flair. This is a WrestleMania-worthy match. I will watch this match 10 times over. 2 of my favorite wrestlers on the planet right now. Bianca made her entrance looking good. Charlotte made her entrance looking good. Then Becky showed up and joined the commentary desk. And she had she went and painted like a white line down on her black lipstick and just looked extra douchey, which is what she's going for. So it works. Both women were going back and forth. Charlotte Irish whipped Bianca over the security barricade. Bianca hit the suplex on Charlotte as Charlotte kicked out. Byron tells Becky that could be her at Crown Jewel. Becky replies, what, kicking out? Yes, that could be me, Byron Saxton. Jimmy Smith says, Byron, if Becky comes after you, then I'm not going to be saving you. Yo, Becky is great on commentary. I'm sorry, this new Becky character has gotten over with me. She's great. She's really good. She's like a mix between Roman Reigns and The Miz. Like, no, she's like the female Seth Rollins. She's nothing like Roman Reigns. She's more like the female Seth Rollins. Like, her and Seth are kind of like identical at this point. So, yeah, Bianca went for the KOD, but Charlotte countered and hit Bianca with a vicious spear. But Bianca kicked out at 2. Bianca hit the KOD and went for the pin, but that's when Becky ran in and interrupted and attacked Bianca. Becky hit the manhandle slam, or as she's called at one point, the rock bottom, which is what it is. Sasha then showed up in all blue, looking like a blueberry, and took out Becky Lynch, and then she attacked God damn it. And then she attacked Bianca Belair as well, hitting her with the running knees in the corner. And Sasha stood tall at the end of the night, which was pretty cool to see, because obviously I love Sasha Banks. I love all 4 of these women. I mean, you got Charlotte, you got Sasha, you got Becky, and you got Bianca. All we need is Bayley, you know what I mean? And, you could throw Asuka and Naomi in there on the outside, you know what I mean? Then you got Zaya coming in, and like, it's a loaded division, man. They just got to do, and I don't want to forget about Carmella and all these other people who are good mid-card women wrestlers. Like, it is what it is. Sasha, I'm so glad she got Becky. Yeah, I'm glad she got at Becky too. I want to see that match because I don't think we got to see Charlotte versus or Sasha versus Becky since Becky's become the Becky that she is now, since Nia Jax busted her nose open. That's why when Charlotte was like, I made you famous, I was like, I'm pretty sure Nia Jax did that. I'm pretty sure Nia Jax busting her wide open is what made her famous. That image and she's already admitted this, so this isn't even something that's debatable. Like, that image alone, along with everything else she was doing up until that point, but that fucking Rumble before the Rumble, you know what I mean, was epic. Like, she's standing in the fucking, or was Survivor Series, I'm pretty sure it was, yeah. And she's standing in the middle in the crowd, the bloody face. It just made her a superstar. She looked like a badass. She looked like the fucking man. You know what I mean? And ever since then, she's been, one of the top 5 fucking wrestlers in WWE, hands down. So good for her. I thought it was a pretty good Monday Night Raw. The draft made a little more sense than it did on Friday, but y'all know what it is. After the review, you know what we do, baby. It's time for the blunt ratings.
It's time for the Blunt Ratings. If this is your first time tuning in, this is how the Blunt Ratings work. We take each show and break them down into 5 categories: matches, promos and backstage segments, storytelling, commentary, and the crowd. For each category, each show can get up to 5 blunts. The average score of those 5 categories stands as the official Blunt Rating. Those are the rules. Now let's get right into tonight's edition of the Blunt Ratings.
We want the smoke.
Talk to him.
We want the smoke. We want the smoke.
Come on, Charlie.
We want smoke, we want smoke, So, what we gonna give the matches for Monday Night Raw? Obviously, there wasn't a lot of clean finishes, shall we say. So I would probably give the matches 3 blunts for Monday Night Raw. Obviously, Randy and Amos never even happened. 24/7 title never even happened. The main event was a DQ. The first match was like the tag match between Big E and Drew was just like a throwaway match. Like, I don't even know if I can give it a 3, honestly. The matches were really bad. I mean, not bad, they were short, and it was more storytelling because the night was about the draft. So I would probably give the matches like 2, 2.5. 2.5, 2. Because I can't do 3 because that's higher than the middle. Like 2.5 is the middle. 2, I gotta go with 2, man. Just to be fair, not to break my scale, I gotta go with 2 because it wasn't really no matches that did anything. Shayna Baszler and fucking, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, 2. I think 2 is being nice, honestly. Promos and backstage segments. Obviously that includes the draft. I think the Finn Balor package was cool. I thought the interview segments with Heyman were cool. Good storytelling, but that's next category. I thought the promos and backstage segments, including the draft, were pretty good. I thought the draft made a lot more sense, so I'll give them 4 blunts for that. Storytelling, obviously, heavy on the storytelling tonight because it's all about reshaping the rosters. Storytelling I thought was fine. I thought a lot of the picks, like I said, made sense tonight. Alexa Bliss didn't really make a lot of sense to me. Drafting Gable Stevenson ahead of Chad Gable and, you know what I mean, and Otis and just a bunch of other people who didn't get drafted. I think they got drafted the other night. But yeah, just ahead of a bunch of people who got drafted on Raw Talk didn't really make any sense to me. But overall, the storytelling was good. I could do without the 24/7 title shit. Seeing it ever again. Don't need to ever see it again. Got to take off something for that. So storytelling, I'll give them another 4 blunts. Commentary. It's definitely a 4 at minimum for commentary last night. I'm tempted to. Five. It's a 5. Commentary is a 5. I love Jimmy Smith, Byron Saxton, and Corey Graves together. The dynamic between those dudes, where Jimmy was like, "Hey, if Becky attack you, nigga, I ain't helping you." Like, Jimmy's a baby face, but he's like the smart baby face that Corey can't pick on. And Byron is like the punching bag, but Byron can defend himself, and he's okay with being the punching bag because it's not like it was like Bradshaw there just straight bullying him. Like fucking Corey's being funny. He's making hilarious jokes about, Angel Garza taking his woman and shit like that. He's making hilarious adult jokes too that Byron, half the time they make it seem like the shit is just going over Byron's head when obviously Byron probably knows what they're talking about, but he plays along. Like, I love the dynamic between these three. WWE's commentary teams have jumped leaps and bounds since Adnan Virk and everything that was happening. Adding Jimmy Smith and Pat McAfee were gold decisions. I wish they could make those decisions when booking all the time. But I'm going to give commentary a 5. That's including Becky Lynch being awesome on commentary as well. And the crowd last night, the crowd was pretty solid. I don't remember where they were. That's important for our blunt raised cards. I need to start making sure I know where they're at every night. But the crowd was okay. I'll give the crowd a solid 4 blunts. I can't go 5 because it wasn't like insane or anything like that. But solid 4 blunts for the crowd. Alex said, imagine Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey, Chad Gable, Jason Jordan, and Roman Reigns. Big words, but that much faith. Yeah, that would be crazy. That'd be wild. Yeah, that's like a lot of real fighters. A lot of real people who really, where Roman Reigns come from though? Like, all these people are like legit like fighters, and then Roman Reigns. It's like, he's the one that don't fit this group. He's the only one that don't fit that group. Everybody else fits in perfectly. Shit, might have to throw Gable Stevenson in there. Shit, for a fit, or you could have thrown Dolph Ziggler in there. He's an actual champion amateur wrestler. There's a bunch of them in WWE, but Roman's not one of them. But yeah, that's it for the blunt rating. So let me add this up. I got 12, 17, 19. It's a 3.9. So we got a silver badge for Monday Night Raw. It's a pretty good show. It's a pretty good show. Obviously, it's not about the wrestling. It wasn't about the wrestling on SmackDown this past Friday. We're just reorganizing the rosters, which I think they did a pretty decent job of. We're going to talk about that more here in a minute on the news. But I think they did a pretty decent job of reorganizing the rosters. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. But don't go away, because in 4 minutes and 20 seconds, we will be back with the Wild News Joint. We'll be going over everything, covering the draft. I'll let you guys know what I think were the best picks. We'll talk about all of the tag teams that broke up, and we'll talk about the NXT call-ups, and we'll discuss whether those were the right picks or not. So I'll be right back in 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Till then, you guys go roll your J's. I'll be right back. Peace.
Thanks for watching another Wow Review Joint. Mikasa Sukasa. You Eddie, right?
Yeah.
Look like Eddie Guerrero, man. You like to watch wrestling?
Yep.
Have you ever watched wrestling? On weed?
That's the way to see it, man. It's
Probably need a microphone. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Mr. HD, back with another wild news joint. And in today's news joint, we don't have a lot of news as far as pro wrestling is concerned outside of what happened at the draft yesterday. So we're going to do a little draft recap, man. We're going to talk about everything that happened during the draft. I'm going to let y'all know what I think the best picks are. Like I said before, I'm going to let y'all know what I think of the NXT call-ups that we had, and there was a lot of tag teams that got broken up. I guess, as you can see on the board, I have the draft rosters here. They put out the rosters last night. These rosters don't take effect immediately. They go into effect apparently in the day after Crown Jewel, so I don't know why they decided to do it like that this time, but they did. Close this window before I start getting weird sound. So we gonna break it down like that. I guess we'll start where y'all want to start. Let's start with the tag teams. Take that down there. Then we'll go. The not so hot tags. Let's talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. There was a lot of tag teams that broke up or that were broken up. A lot of them weren't even announced on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. They were announced on Raw Talk when they just said where people were, and you realized that they were splitting up a lot of teams. But here's a list of the tag teams that were broken up. We had T-Bar and Mace being split up. T-Bar remaining on Raw while Mace is moving over to SmackDown. I have no idea why that is a thing. Obviously, Dominik Dijakovic, if he's going to go back to being him, which I think he should, he was like the typical Vince McMahon guy, and then they just put a mask on him and made him this weird henchman. And maybe he'll get to be Dijak, and maybe we'll get those Keith Lee versus Dijak matches we've been begging for on the main roster forever. We want that back. Then we had Veer staying on Raw while Shanky and Jinder Mahal were drafted to SmackDown. What? Veer is a solo wrestler? He's a singles wrestler? Veer? Is he? All right. I mean, Veer versus Amos, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with this. It doesn't make any sense to me doing that. Then, like I spoke about earlier on the review, Tamina was drafted to Raw while Natalya will remain on SmackDown. So just a few months ago, they were wrestling twice on WrestleMania, having their greatest moment in both of their careers, and now they're both back relegated to nothingness. Because not being a tag team is just, they're just going to be solo wrestlers singles wrestlers who put younger wrestlers over, which what they should be doing. But they had a lot more chance of success being a tag team. And it made a lot of sense with their heritage and everything. So I don't understand this one either. Then we had one that made no sense. They literally just came out and rode a tank and shot something at Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley off the little tank. And it was Tegan Nox because she got drafted to Raw, and Shotzi Blackheart is staying on SmackDown. Why? What is this? They just got called up. They haven't even had a match. They had one match. But they had one match. Like, why are they being split up already? Why didn't you just bring them up separate? Why'd you bring them up together if you were just going to... Shotzi wasn't even her teammate. It's like, that was Ember Moon's spot. It was Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. Then they just decided to put Tegan Nox with her 2 months ago, and now they already splitting them back up. They tripping. They tripping with this. This is so stupid. I didn't like Tegan Nox being a tag team wrestler anyway. Like, she's too good as a singles wrestler. Yeah, it just didn't make any sense. Maybe they're protecting her knees so she ain't got to do all the work or anything. She had two ACL tears, but it's just stupid. This is stupid. But Austin Theory was obviously called up and split up from the way. Obviously, everything in NXT has been split up. That's more of a call-up than a tag team breaking up. Then Xia Li obviously separated from her faction, and Ridge Holland separated from his faction with Pete Dunne. So some NXT breakups as well because of the call-ups, of course. So what do you guys think of the tag teams breaking up? Or do any of them really stand out? Does it matter that any of them broke up? I don't think it really matters that any of them broke up because none of them were really. I think it matters for the wrestlers like Natalya and Tamina. I think it mattered for them because I think they both have a better chance at being successful as a tag team. Now, for everybody else, I think T-Bar or Dominik Dijakovic, his real wrestling name, could be good. That's good for him separating from Mace, former Carolina Panther running back. Obviously, Dio Madden could go. I guess he might still be called Mace. I don't know. He can go try to do his thing solo, maybe get a little less green, work on his facial expressions, maybe not come out with the Milli Vanilli look. I don't know. But yeah, I think could be good for Dijak. Tegan Knox is good for her splitting away from Shotzi because they didn't mesh as a team to me, and they just threw them together, so it didn't make any sense. Austin Theory obviously is going to be a superstar. Austin Theory, in my opinion, him and Xia Li and Ridge Holland, I think all three of those NXT call-ups are going to be super duper stars. And ladies and gentlemen, speaking of NXT call-ups, let's talk about that. Why don't we? We had a few. And I want to know from the chat, the people in here right now, who do you think was the number one NXT call-up for the draft this year? I know who I think it was. It's actually probably a tie between two people for me, but I'm not going to cheat. I'm going to just pick one. There was a lot of call-ups between both nights. I think that Austin Theory was probably one of my favorites, but I wouldn't put him in the top two. I just think he's going to be super successful on the main roster. He's a WWE guy through and through. He proved his worth as a part of the Way in that tag team, and just showing how hilarious he could be if he's given the chance to be. And Xia Li. I think Xia Li is going to be a superstar. She looks like fucking female Bruce Lee. She's a badass. She looks like she really hurts people. I don't know if her faction is coming. I don't know if Boa and the other girl are actually coming with her. I hope they do, but if they don't, that's cool too. I think they should bring the whole squad though. But yeah, the number one, Austin Theory is the best kid get money. I think that's not a bad shout. That's not a bad shout. Y'all don't think that Swerve was the best call up? I ain't heard nobody say Hit Row. I'm super surprised by that. I think I know why though. I think it's because half the team is super green, like green screen green, like weed green. Like these niggas is filled of grass green, like that, like super duper duper green. Because obviously the big guy, is it gonna, he's what he is in the ring, and Shorty is kind of, she's super green in the ring. I don't even need to see her wrestle, honestly, on TV for a long time until she's ready. She could just be a mouthpiece because she's good at talking shit. You know what I mean? Like most sisters, she can talk some shit, but when it comes to being in the ring, she needs work. The talent level is too high on the main roster with Sasha and Naomi and Bianca and Charlotte and Becky, and now Zai is too high. She can't get in the ring with none of these people. She's Lana. She'll be Lana. People will start to hate her. It'll fuck up the group. They'll stop taking the group seriously. It'll rub off on Swerve and Adonis, who are great in the ring. Just don't put her in the ring. They don't need that right now. I know they already been trying to, and they just don't need to. But I'm excited about Hit Row because I think it just brings some youth to Monday Night Raw that Monday Night Raw needs bad. Like the only real youth that Monday Night Raw has outside of Bianca Belair and like the Street Profits. And the Street Profits don't give off like a real young dude vibe. Like nobody does really. Like maybe Riddle, but he don't even really give off like a young dude vibe. It's like a lot of OGs, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, and all these old heads. Paul Heyman taking up a lot of TV time. So it's like having Hit Row on SmackDown where you got, the Usos could be, because these niggas got gray in their beard. No. I'm talking about young, like Austin Theory young. That's why calling up people like him and Swerve was a really good idea in my opinion. I think Swerve is the best call-up because I think all the matches that he can have, I think his charisma, having a rapper on the main roster, a real rapper, not John Cena, You know what I mean? On the main roster. Yeah, they on SmackDown. Hit Row on SmackDown. I was just saying, like, as far as the whole main roster, it's just old. It feels old. You know what I mean? Like, even the younger people outside of, like, the Bianca and, like, Becky and Charlotte, they feel like they've been around for a decade. So it's like they need, like, some young, hip motherfuckers on the roster. Makes her old. Yeah, so, you know, they it's a little bit different, but I think that, you know, it'll work out for everybody that they called up, because I think Ridge Holland is going to be a star. He has the look. I mean, he looks like Brock Lesnar. I mean, just a smaller version of Brock Lesnar, and he's strong as shit, and he can wrestle a little bit. So I think he'll be fine. Like I said, Xia Li is a superstar to me. And it wasn't like a whole crap load of call-ups. There was like, you know, I guess 30, 40 picks somewhere in between there. And it wasn't like a whole crap ton of call-ups. There was like 3 or 4. I think Gable Stevenson being called up from the Performance Center was kind of stupid, in my opinion, and disrespectful to everybody that didn't get drafted. But it is what it is. You want to keep him in the center of attention since the Olympics just passed. You want to keep his name hot since you just sign him. I don't know if he ends up on TV soon and he comes out like fucking Kurt Angle did. And I mean, obviously Kurt Angle was wrestling for like 3 days before he was the greatest. Like it was, he was just, Kurt Angle was different. He was a different type of beast. He was basically Shawn Michaels' counterpart after 2 weeks of pro wrestling. So maybe Gable Stevenson has that in him. And I would love to see it, because obviously Kurt Angle is on my personal Mount Rushmore. Now, he's not in the top 4 greatest of all time, but he's in my top 4 favorite with Shawn Michaels and CM Punk and Stone Cold. And The Rock is like on the outside 5th. You know what I mean? But like, he's up there. Kurt Angle was like one of the greatest of all time to me. It's not even debatable. Like, character-wise, in ring, obviously a madman. My favorite Kurt Angle was the ECW Kurt Angle, when he was seething at the teeth with the mouthpiece and just destroying everybody with a broken freaking neck. You know what I mean? It's like, that was my favorite Kurt Angle, but all versions of Kurt Angle were amazing. From the moment he stepped into the very first day he stepped into the WWE on Monday Night Raw, he was gold. You know what I mean? So, you know, maybe Gable Stevenson has that. I don't know. I mean, I would love to see it from the brother. You know what I mean? Black guy being successful. I would love to see it. So I'm rooting for him at the end of the day. So after the NXT call-ups, let's break down the best picks for each brand. Now, I have the rosters right here in front of me. I'm going to give you guys my top 5 best picks for each brand. And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to name people who are already on that brand. So SmackDown, I'm not going to name Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso and people like that, because they were already on the brand. So the top 5 people that I think SmackDown picked up, obviously I already mentioned one of them. That's Isaiah Swerve Scott. I think that was a money play right there for SmackDown. I think Fox is very, 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 very happy about that. I think that after that, I think that Ricochet going to SmackDown was an excellent pick for the Blue brand and for Ricochet, because now he got some people to wrestle and he ain't got to chase that 24/7 title. Just all the matches over there he can have. He's going to replace Daniel Bryan and, you know, over there on the Blue brand, to be able to have those classic matches, you know, 30-minute bangers, high octanes, you know, matches over there. You know, it's unfortunate I don't get to see him wrestle Rey Mysterio. I still wanted to see that. Now that Rey's over on Raw, we won't get to see that, but it is what it is. Let's see. What would be the third best pickup for SmackDown? I think this is tough. Yeah. What was Charlotte on Raw before? She was on Raw. Yeah, so I would definitely throw Charlotte in there. Charlotte and Drew. Yeah, I think Charlotte and Drew were probably like 2 huge pickups for them, for the Blue brand. So obviously having the champion Charlotte Flair over there and having a main eventer like Drew McIntyre on the brand. Gonna be good for the show. Drew will be coming off another loss because obviously he's taking that L to Big E at Crown Jewel, but it is what it is. And I think the fifth best pickup for SmackDown was Xia Li, because outside of Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Shayna Baszler, and let me not disrespect Naomi, there's no women on the SmackDown women's roster that I'm interested in watching. They drafted Aaliyah. Apparently, Aaliyah is now on the SmackDown roster. I'm not sure if that happened and then she got hurt, but yeah, Toni Storm is on the SmackDown roster, probably eating tuna sandwiches in catering. And B-Fab, who I never need to see wrestle until she gets good at it. So yeah, they needed Xia Li on this brand. They really, really needed her. The SmackDown women's division is still a little thin, but when you got Sasha Banks and you got Charlotte Flair, and then you throw somebody like Xia Li in the mix, and possibly Aaliyah in the mix who could do some things. Naomi obviously is going to be a big part. I think Sonya Deville is going to be added to this roster. Obviously, I feel like she's going to be getting back in the ring very soon, obviously against Naomi. So that will definitely help the division. I want to see Shayna Baszler versus Sonya Deville. I know that's a Hill versus Hill matchup, but it's just something that we needed to see. Like, we wanted to see Sonya Deville versus Ronda Rousey, but then Ronda retired, had a baby, and don't think she's ever coming back at this point. So, yeah, that's a match I want to see, but they're two Hills, so it probably wouldn't happen until way, way down the road. Natalia's on this brand, don't care. So those are my top 5 picks for SmackDown. Ricochet, Swerve, Charlotte, Drew McIntyre, and who was the last one I said? Xia Li. And Ridge Holland's a good pickup too, but I like Xia Li as a pickup over Ridge Holland. Aaliyah could do some things, however Aaliyah can go, but then again, they need someone to take home the L. Yeah, she's there to lose a lot. I mean, it is what it is. She's there to lose to Sasha and Charlotte, and she'll beat Natalia. You know what I mean? It's like, it is what it is. Like, they'll let certain people put her over, and then it'll, standard operating procedure. You have the superstars. Roman Reigns isn't losing. Sasha Banks ain't losing. Charlotte ain't about to be losing. They're on the fucking image of the picture. So it's like they not going to have these people lose regularly. So it was a good job for SmackDown as far as the draft. I think that Raw definitely made its roster better. I think that SmackDown kind of took a L as far as like swapping people. I think SmackDown kind of took the L, and I think that was planned because Monday Night Raw has been really bad for a long time, and it's finally gotten good over the last month or so, and they want to keep that momentum going. And I'm sure they've heard the chatter, but Monday Night Raw's picks, the roster's kind of loaded at this point. Monday Night Raw's roster is super duper loaded. Like, if you look at the two images side by side, these two images side by side, and you look, obviously Raw has 10 or 12 more people, but man, the roster, just look at Raw's roster. They have AJ Styles and Amos. They drafted fucking Commander Aziz and Apollo Crews. They got Bianca Belair over there. They kept Bearcat Lee. I like that name now. I'm not even gonna hate. They drafted Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio together. They still have Riddle and Orton. They still have Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash. They still have Lashley MVP. They got T-Bar, who's probably gonna end up being Dominic Dijak again. They got Tegan Knox over there. They drafted Finn Balor. They drafted Edge. They got Piper Niven if they decide to do something with her. They drafted Austin Theory. Like, they got the champion Big E. They got Carmella over there with her man. You know what I mean? Cedric Alexander and Sheldon back in the Hurt Business. Like, Chad Gable and Otis are on Raw now. Mia Yim is on here. That's interesting, but she's on Raw now. You know what I mean? Kevin Owens got drafted to Raw. Liv Morgan is on Raw. You know what I mean? It's like Raw's kind of loaded, bruh. Raw kind of loaded. Raw is kind of loaded, but I'm like I did before. I'm gonna tell y'all my top 5 best selections. Bearcat versus Madcap. That is actually hilarious. Bearcat versus Madcap. So for my top 5 selections for Monday Night Raw, obviously the number one pickup they could have made. This is kind of cheating, but he is switching brands. Big E. Monday Night Raw getting Big E automatically injects life into that brand, energy into that brand. He's their champion. It was a smart pickup. And Monday Night Raw has Seth Rollins too. I didn't even mention Seth. They literally have everybody on Raw. They just like pillage SmackDown. It's like y'all keep Roman and the Usos, and that's it. They pillage SmackDown's roster. It's crazy. It's kind of disgusting, but let's see how SmackDown is able to maintain what they've been doing, how they've been so much better than Raw over the last amount of time. The Street Profits are also on Raw, but yeah. So obviously, Big E would be the best pick that they made, in my opinion, the best pickup they made. Becky, she was making a comeback, so I don't consider her to be in this discussion. Bianca Belair, I think, is obviously their second best pickup. Monday Night Raw getting the drip god Seth Rollins is obviously a money play. That is a money play right there. So that was obviously a good call. Who switched brands to Monday Night Raw? Bearcat was already there. The Street Profits coming to Monday Night Raw. Obviously, massive deal. One of the biggest groups in WWE, if not, well, I can't say they're the biggest because Usos and New Day are still the most popular tag teams, but I feel like the Street Profits are nipping on the heels for that throne. So they probably be number 4 for me. And then I say number 5. Number 5 will have to be Austin Theory for me, yo. I think I know I keep mentioning that dude's name. I think Austin Theory is going to be a super duper star. He looks the part, he sounds the part, he wrestles the part. His finishing move is dope. Like, I don't know what you want this dude to do. If he doesn't succeed, I don't think it'll be anything of his doing. I think it'll be because of the shit that they giving him to do. So I think that was an amazing pickup for Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw's roster is loaded. You just heard me read it off. It's going to be crazy. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. And I like how they kept all the couples together, Mia Yim and Bearcat. They kept them together. Becky and Seth are together. Charlotte and no, I'm joking. But for the most part, they kept all the couples together that are on the roster. So that I can always appreciate that when they do that. But yeah, the intro with Jeff Hardy was fire. Jeff Hardy's theme song is fire. I mean, he's got a fire theme song. I know why he wanted it back. So it is what it is. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's enough draft talk for today. I'm going to get up out of here. Go enjoy the rest of my day. It's your boy, Mr. HD. I appreciate all you guys being here discussing the draft with me. Alex, Camilla, everybody in here, Kid Get Money. Everybody was in here discussing the draft, man. It's always fun talking to you guys. Hopefully, Two-Face will be back on Saturday feeling, nice and spry and young again and feeling like himself. Physics and Super High will be here on Thursday covering the Dynamite review joint and all the latest in pro wrestling news, rumors, and updates and all that good shit. So I appreciate you guys hanging with me, keeping me company as I had to rock out by myself today. But as always, I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to know when we go live next. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Wrestling on Weed, and thanks for watching.